Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to
Mind Body Stuff.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Bernice.
Welcome.
Glad you're here.
Where are you guys? Where's here for you?
Where are you out
Where
there?
are you?
In the podcast
Are you
world?
in your car?
Are you in your kitchen?
Are you in your bed? Where are you guys? What you doing?
I'm in my bed right now.
Can we hang out? No, you're not. We're in Bernice's bed recording this week.
Very comfortable.
With your big dog Duke.
Dukers.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. It's a lie. I lied.
That sounds nice, though.
Mm-hmm.
All I want to do is lay in bed and watch TV these days.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the weather and also my pregnancy, but wow. I'm watching the show Victoria.
Victoria?
Yeah.
Oh, about Queen Victoria?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen parts of that.
Of Victoria and Albert.
Yes.
It is so good.
Yes, how she gets into power. And...
I cannot wait to put my kids to bed every night so I can just go and watch TV in bed.
Yeah, see, it's
quite nice.
It's nice, yeah.
Anyways.
I'm just having a hard time with fall.
I know you are.
I know I'm having a hard
time. You do it every year.
And the other day last week I jumped in the lake and
That's
I'm like,
what Joe wrote
this is my last time.
That's what Joe wrote on Instagram.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she said, and then my mom said, and then my mom and dad jumped in, and my mom said, this is probably our last jump of the season. And I thought, that was a hard moment for your mom, Joe.
It's making me tear up as we talk about it.
Totally
Like, how sad is that? Like, hello, get a life.
Yeah, but it always comes back. That's the thing.
I know. I have hard times with endings.
But at least we get fun stuff that comes in the fall.
Like what?
And a new baby.
Yeah, you get a new baby. I don't get a new baby.
You can have it.
I don't get to breastfeed or anything.
I'll give it to you at night. How about that?
Hi, Frankie.
So today we are going to talk about the importance of sharing our story and of owning our stories, but also not being prisoners to our story. I think as well.
Well put. Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts on this personally, especially because I was at the retreat last weekend.
Yes.
So that, as some of you guys know in podcast land, I had the opportunity to teach ULA 1 at a retreat in Santa Cruz hosted by Elizabeth Gilbert and Cheryl Strayed. And that was really, it was just a really cool opportunity. No, I didn't get to meet them. No, they didn't take ULA 1 and fall in love and now we're best friends. Unfortunately, that would have been...
That was in my romantic mind.
That would have been a dream come true.
I was like, she'd just stumble into them in the bathroom.
And Cheryl's like, oh my gosh.
Are you Kaylee Lindner?
That class was amazing.
I love that.
How about you come out and teach
That's
at all my retreats?
All my romance novels.
I know, it was in my romance novel too.
Oh.
But alas, it's okay. It really was a cool opportunity anyways, and I think we laid some good groundwork for hopefully being able to teach at that retreat center in the future, or even having our own retreats there. It was so amazing.
Oh, and it's supposed to be beautiful, right? Big trees.
Oh God, just you're in the redwood forest, like this center is it's just stunning. But anyways, so as I'm trying to figure out how to like open and close my classes and how to tie it into the reason that all the participants are there through the weekend, obviously Elizabeth Gilbert and Cheryl Strayed are storytellers. And
yeah, they're writers.
They're writers.
They're great storytellers.
But they've also, like, what they write about is deeply personal stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not just fiction writers.
I mean, and sometimes I think Elizabeth Gilbert more does fiction, or at least I think she does non-fiction based things, and then whatever. But the books that she is most known for, and Cheryl, are their personal stories. Mm-hmm. And at the weekend retreat, I talked about that. I talked about how we hear these stories from other people that I think gives us the bravery and the courage to tell our own stories. And so these women have been hugely important for many, many people, I think, in being able to own their story, forgive themselves for their story, be released from the control that their story may have, be able to edit their story. I think that these women have, through their example, sparked something in a lot of their readers that have then empower them to do the same. And so I was talking then about how ULA 1 ties into this. And the body is truly the home to our stories. The body does not forget. I'm now listening to the book, The Body Keeps the Score. Fascinating book about trauma and how the body remembers. And so our stories are
kind of lodged.
They're lodged, and they're living in our bodies, and then they affect how we feel. They affect how we interact with other people. They affect our relationships. They're there. And so part of what we do with ULA and ULA 1 is moving our stories. Movement is going to create the freedom. Some of our stories we cherish. We want them to stay alive in our bodies. Some of the stories, we need them to leave now. It's time for them to maybe release a bit of the control that they have on us. And so whenever I kind of think about that, I'm like, okay, what do I want? Where do I want this movement to happen? How do I want this to feel? Do I want to release this? Do I want to release it through movement, through screaming, through just the power of that movement? Or do I want to savor? Do I want to savor, the softness? Why am I soft here? Well, I'm soft here because I've carried babies here. I've, just understanding like that the stories are alive in our bodies, but they don't have to define us. And it's when we can share our stories through a release or through writing or whatever it is, then I think not only can we find freedom, but we can also then free other people.
Through the sharing of our own stories.
Yeah.
And I think we have, stories have been a part of humankind for a long, long, long time.
Oh,
probably
absolutely.
long, long ago, because I was just thinking about indigenous folks who a lot of the history was all oral tradition.
It was.
So we would make sure that we would sit around at night or in the day or whenever, and we would share these sort of pivotal stories so that our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren would learn through these stories.
Right. They weren't writing it down in history books. They're telling the story.
The stories, and there would be storytellers who would be sort of part of the group. That's your job. That's your family's job. You're the holder of these stories.
Yes.
And so you see how significant they are, even in how cultures treat stories.
Yes.
And in terms of a learning opportunity for future generations.
Yes.
And I think even for us, when we do our group work and stories come up in group work, it's so important because maybe you're not going to tell your story that day, but you hear someone else tell their story, and for a moment the light is shown on your story in your own self.
Yes.
And you have that kind of like, oh, I forgot that part of my story. Or maybe I haven't even explored that part of my story.
Yeah, or maybe I've pushed that story so far down into my memory and my body and my existence that I am now just beginning to remember this part of my story.
Right, and all the things that maybe went with that story.
Right.
The emotion and the reaction and the meaning of the story for you.
Yeah.
So it's incredible when we have these storytellers share stories to set the example for all of us.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I think one of the hardest human experiences is loneliness or feeling isolated.
Yes.
I mean, isolated in our shame, isolated in darkness, in our sadness, just actually being physically alone. I mean, don't you think that feeling alone is really hard for humans?
Oh yeah, and we are social creatures.
We're social.
We're like horses. We're like dogs. We're like wolves. We
crave
in
connection
groups.
and community.
Yeah, we weren't solo creatures. We talked about that before.
Right.
But our culture has sort of transpired to this point, it seems like, where we spend a lot of time alone.
Right.
Even though we're interacting with our phones and our TVs and our computers.
Right.
We're not really interacting with each other.
Right. And again, if we're interacting through the computer, you get to handpick which part of your story that you want to share and what you want to tell. We're not actually in the space of each other's stories as much as we would have been living in traditional societies.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So I think this storytelling piece is really paramount, and it's fundamental to keeping our sanity.
Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean,
and personal growth.
If
someone didn't share a story in different parts of my life,
mm-hmm.
I would not be where I'm at today.
Right.
Some of those most pivotal moments of my life was someone shared a story, and I was like, "Ooh, what? What did you just say?" I think that might have happened to me. Right. Or I think I might be thinking about that.
Well, and even for me, some of the most powerful stories, maybe they didn't bring up anything in me, but they completely shaped how I felt about something,
mm-hmm.
or
changed how you maybe felt about something,
or changed how. Yes, and I'm going to tell this story. I have a friend who is a lesbian, and she is in her 50s, and when she was in her probably 20s, so about 30 years ago, during there was a lot of less tolerance mm-hmm. for gays, and so what she did is
the 90s, maybe
like the 90s.
Yeah,
she was living in. I'm sure I'm not getting all the details right, and she doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'm gonna share with you guys the standout points for me. What she did is she went around rural Idaho and she just knocked on people's doors, and she said, "I'm gay, and I want to sit down with you and I just want to talk to you," because she said they had a much harder time hating
once
they met me, once they talked to me, once they heard my story. It was mm-hmm. so much harder to just think that I was living in sin, or that I was a bad person, or whatever. And so it was like it really hit me when she told me that story, because I'm like, yes, that's how we create change.
Right.
We say, let's sit down and let's talk to each other. Let me tell you my story. Let me hear your story.
Right.
And that's how we understand compassion and connection, and we're able to maybe understand that we're different or have differences.
That's how we make connection.
But we're not afraid of these differences, and I think so much of people's, rejection or pushing against things is usually based on fear.
Yeah, and they're not exposed to maybe what the other person's talking about.
Totally.
They're naive to it, or it just hasn't been in their life.
Exactly.
So, or they're not aware of it.
Yeah, and so
it seems scary to them
to be able to look this woman in the eye.
And I have all these definitions I've been told.
Right.
What gay is. Here are my definitions.
And who is a gay person? They are this, and this.
Right, there. And then, but suddenly you meet a gay person.
Yeah.
A real gay person.
In real
life. A real life gay person.
Not a unicorn one.
Not a unicorn gay person. Not an imaginary gay person. You meet a real gay person and you're like, oh my gosh.
Whoa, you're just a living, person.
Breathing, sweet, wonderful human being.
Right.
Where they're telling their story and you're like, oh. Mm-hmm. You have a story too. Of course. Yes, of course I do.
Yeah. Yes. And I can't give all the details right now, but we're going to make some changes within ULA for moving forward. And I'll tell you why. It's because one woman shared her story with us in Twin Cities, mm-hmm. and it completely changed me. Mm-hmm. And it was an incredibly powerful, incredibly moving story. And the way that she wants to now bring ULA into the work that she does through healing others. She's taken her trauma, she's taken her abuse, and now she wants to incorporate ULA in the way that she helps other people who have been through just honestly like the worst situation mm-hmm. I could imagine. Mm-hmm. And she wants to use ULA in that way. And when she shared her story, I thought, okay, we need to make some changes in this business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an epiphany.
It was an epiphany. I was like, there are so many other ways that ULA could be reaching the people who need it. And
in this one, this is one way.
And I don't think we're necessarily opening ourselves up to all of these ways in which we can do this work, or in which other people want to be able to do this work. It was because she shared her story.
And this is a great story of how she shares her story, because she's reluctant.
Oh, sure.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because, of course, many of us are reluctant to share our stories.
Yeah.
Because they're...
Yeah, she didn't want to share it.
Sometimes they're sad. They've been traumatic, maybe. Not all stories, but some stories, especially the ones you're maybe least likely or willing to share.
Totally.
And she got up, and there was a thing happening during training, And she said, I feel like I need to share my story.
Right.
And we were like, okay. And it was such an impactful story.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she shared it, and her story was about abuse in her life. It was a wonderful, the way she shared it was so moving. It was an epiphany for Kaylee in terms of the direction of ULA. And for me, as I've talked about before with a family member who's having difficulty in an abusive relationship, it was like a light went on in my head. Mm-hmm. And I also felt like I wasn't going to die, or this family member, that it wasn't, the way she shared her story made me feel like I don't have to catastrophize so much.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had a therapist tell me that already, but once she shared the story, and there she is, a survivor herself, and I thought, if she hadn't shared that story, I don't know if I would have had the relationship I have right now with this family member,
right,
without her sharing that story. Without her having the courage to get up and share a story she felt uncomfortable about sharing, that it changed the direction for Kaylee of ULA in different ways, and it changed the direction of how I interact with a very dear family member.
Yep, absolutely.
And there it is.
Absolutely.
And there's the strength of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. Right there. I mean, right there. I think she changed the course of both of our lives, and hopefully a lot of people who are involved in ULA or hopefully will become involved in ULA, and the healing power that sharing our story. The thing about ULA, it's all storytelling. It's all storytelling. The entire thing about ULA is storytelling. Mm-hmm. The playlists are very carefully designed so that they go through a story. The emotional releases, the inward focus in the body and how we're feeling and what is stuck and what needs to be released and what needs to be softened and what needs to be forgiven and what needs to be loved. All of that is a story. It's all a story. Mm-hmm. Nobody's perfect. Mm-mm. Nobody wants to be with people who are perfect either.
What?
Except for you.
Nobody's perfect.
But that's the thing. It's like why do we have all these expectations? What are we so afraid of if somebody truly sees us or knows our difficult stories? In most cases, it creates more compassion, it creates more connection.
And more healing.
And more healing for the storyteller and the receiver.
Really, yes.
It really, really does.
Yes.
Like it is. This is the way that we're gonna heal the world.
Yes, and we learn this every ULA training.
Every ULA training.
Every ULA training, we are inevitably honored, or that we're so lucky to be able to hear so many people
to bear witness to these stories.
And every time we come out, changed people.
Absolutely.
I think.
Always changed.
And just have gained so much insight, not only into the workings of others, but into the workings of ourselves.
Totally.
And the workings of our culture. Yeah. And the workings of this world. And how maybe to navigate the world better.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And again, back to what Kaylee's saying in terms of like these ULA classes are designed to take you on a journey. Mm-hmm. And the journey is the story.
The journey is the story.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be different for different people. Some days we're dancing for ourselves. Some days we're dancing for other people. Some days we're dancing for humanity. I mean, there have been many classes that I have danced for humanity because I have felt like I am losing my faith in humanity right about now. And I need to dance for humanity.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we dance for our stories, our own stories. I mean, I think a lot of you guys know that, you know, one of the big reasons that ULA is a healing what's that word?
Modality.
Modality. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking for.
Modality.
Fitness also.
It started out kind of as a fitness, fitness.
It's a healing fun, fitness.
But now it's moved into this sort of greater...
which, of course, it's still fitness. We all know that. It's still fitness, but...
fitness, of course, fitness. Like, it's not a dirty word. We have physical fitness. We have mental health fitness.
Totally.
We need it all. I need my body. I need my muscles to feel better.
How do you expect to live your best life if your body doesn't feel good? You can't.
You can't. I work with so many people sometimes.
You cannot do
they're
it.
just like, I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but your legs hurt. Yeah, my legs hurt. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but, it's hard for me to climb the stairs. I'm like, I know it's hard.
Yeah, so imagine all of the things that you are not taking part of in your life because it's your body. It doesn't feel good. Your body has been neglected. You haven't been taking care of your physical health.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's important. It's not. It isn't. It's not a dirty word. It's not a shallow thing to think about. If it makes you feel good and it makes you to participate fully in your life, then that is what we want. And
we want fitness for the full being.
Totally.
We want fitness for all of us. All of it.
And
all of this.
Yes, the mental fitness is just as important as the physical fitness. And the cool thing about ULA is they can all come together.
Yes.
Like, it's cheaper and less time consuming than trying to get it all in there.
Right. Separately. Like, then I gotta go to therapy, and then I gotta go to the gym, and then I gotta get some weights, and then I gotta, go for a hike to be outside. Those are all great things too, by the way. But, sometimes we just get to do an hour-long ULA class, and I'm like, woo, okay.
Here we go.
I didn't even know I had that stuff I need to work out today.
Yeah.
Or that part of my story, perhaps. Or your story. Or the group story.
Totally.
Sometimes doesn't it feel like, and you guys too, doesn't it feel that way? Sometimes the class takes on its own story.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? Like, suddenly I've designed a playlist. And I'm like, oh yes, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to do this, and then we feel sexy, and then we get mad. But then the class...
First we get sexy, then we get mad.
Then we get sad, and then we get happy. No, and suddenly the class starts to happen because it's organic. And then you feel like, I'm like, off we go. And the class somehow, this group now creates this story.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Those are some of my favorite classes where the group now has just become, we are all creating this story simultaneously.
And this is how we feel a sense of belonging. This is how we feel like we're part of something that's bigger than ourselves, that we have a place. We're part of something bigger.
And how important is that to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself?
Hugely important.
Because when you think it's just you,
yes,
that's a lot of weight there.
That's a lot of weight. A, it's isolating. And B, it's too much pressure. And C, how humbling to know that the world doesn't revolve just around you. You know? It's like you are part of something that is much bigger.
Something bigger.
And what a weight that can just release from our shoulders when we say, you know what, I'm part of something bigger. I fully believe I'm a co-creator of my experience, but I think that there are much bigger things at work than just me.
Yeah, and we found that out in our lives when certain things happen. Maybe not as we planned.
Right.
And even the story that changed us.
Right.
We couldn't have been like, and now there'll be a story.
Right.
Or, now we're going to do this. We're going to trajectory off this way or whatever. No, no. We're part of this bigger picture, this ongoing, broader story.
Yeah. And so, and just like my personal experience with sharing, a really painful story, obviously was when my son was stillborn, and that was, I talked a lot about it. Like I did. I talked a lot about it, and
you danced a lot about it.
I danced a lot about it. But I remember, I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep, both before it happened because it was looming, and I knew it was going to happen. So I couldn't sleep. And then I couldn't sleep after either. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would write. And then I would post them, and I called them like my midnight musings, and I would post them and share. And I had so many people respond with how powerful that was. And it's almost like I didn't know that this stuff happened to people. I didn't know that after you pass 12 or 13 weeks or whatever to get out of the first trimester, I didn't really know that a baby could die. I kind of thought you're in the clear now.
Yeah,
you're having a baby.
Right.
But the reason I didn't know is because people don't talk about it, because it's incredibly painful, and there's a shame. There's a shame associated to it. Because if you think back about our Women in Sexuality podcast, I think a lot of our value is tied into this ability to create and give life.
Yeah, there is this fertility piece.
And so I didn't realize, I guess, the shame that goes along with it. And then the more I talked about it, the more I realized that there are so many women who have miscarriages and who have stillbirths, which I didn't even know what okay, maybe I'm super naive, but I'd never even heard the term stillbirth when I had one.
I heard the term, but I wasn't really clear when that was. I thought it was like, you give birth to a full-term baby and it's dead.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't understand how that whole thing worked. Like at certain period, I didn't.
Totally. And I realized
we don't talk about
because we don't talk about it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is there was so much like confusion for me around it because I didn't know that this stuff happened. And so I have never felt more lonely than I did during those times and during the time that came after it. I have never felt more isolated and lonely, and I had lost my indifferent. I had lost my identity. Here I was thinking I was going to be a mom, and then all of a sudden it was all stripped away from me, and then I couldn't figure out who I was anymore and who exactly I had lost. I was so lonely, and it was through being open about my story, and then maybe it's not everybody's story, but they would connect with me and they would talk about their grief, and they would talk about how these songs that I was starting to choreograph and use for my own healing, how they were helping them heal, or a family member they were thinking about during that song, or whatever, and it was just it was almost like wow, I mean, who would I be now if that hadn't have happened to me? Sometimes our most painful stories can create just the most beautiful paths. And I know that I was meant to walk this path. As painful as it has been, it's where I need to be in my life.
And that's such a great lesson. And with the use of the story, I was just thinking this too, how when we grow up, at least in my life and probably in your life too, I felt like I had control. We've talked about that before, but sure, like if I want something enough, I can make it happen.
Right.
Or I can change things if I need to.
Right.
Like I will go in and I will fix it, or I will go in and do something different.
Yeah.
And I think when these things happen in our lives, where it becomes so apparent that, whoa, I really had no control here.
I had no control.
I had no control. And that is so jarring. And the beauty of the story is then you hear it. That's part of the isolation too, I think, because we think, like, of course I can fix that. And some things we can't fix. Things happen.
Yeah.
And suddenly though, you realize that makes you feel isolated because it's like, well, then who am I if I can't fix something?
Oh, good point. Wait, let me stop and think of it. Hold on. That's a big sentence. Hold on. Who am I if I can't fix this?
Yes.
Who am I if I'm not in control of my destiny and of this situation? Then who am I?
Yes. Because that throws us into the darkness.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, and we get lost.
And totally lost. Because then suddenly the paradigm I'm living my life by is not correct.
Yes.
And then it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And who else knew this?
You guys all know this?
Does anyone who else knows the secret? Because even when I got cancer, that was the thing. Like I thought my whole life, I can do this, whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta climb Everest. Okay, I'll freaking do it.
I'll figure out how to do it.
Freaking, if I have to do it, I'll do it.
Yes.
I wouldn't choose to do that, by the way. But if I had to,
you could.
I would.
With your peanut M&Ms,
with
you'd be fine.
A lot of peanut M&Ms and some vanilla chai.
And maybe a Coca-Cola.
A little Coca-Cola on the side. But it was the same thing when I heard you talking about that, Kaylee. It threw me into the darkness of, if I can't control this, then who am I?
Yes.
Who am I?
Yes.
And that's the beauty of stories.
Yes.
Because suddenly it's like, because I'm isolated, I'm seeing myself alone.
Yeah.
Who am I? Control is a little bit about being alone. It's about being in charge of your ship.
Yes.
Here I am on my ship. Fix that.
I'm at the helm.
Sailing down the ocean blue.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
I think that's why a lot of people get comfort in religion as well.
Yes.
Be like, I know that I'm not in control, and I have to trust.
Right.
I have to
trust beyond myself. But for me, the beauty of the story is, and that's what religion is. Sometimes these great stories, right? That are stories with messages and the things you're supposed to do and not do. But when we hear, She's like, what is she going to say now? What is she going to say?
I'm just looking at her pictures, trying to see how she's going to get herself out of this one.
One time. But it is the story. Because then you start hearing people's stories, and you were like, I'm not in the dark.
Yes, totally.
You went through this too, Penelope. I made that name up. She's the names I make up. She thinks they're funny.
Barbara.
I'm trying to think of
You've
names.
been through this too, Barbara, haven't you?
Jane, you too. But that gives us so much comfort to know, even when I'm not in control.
Yeah. Well, and that's, yes. And that was a big thing for me too, is realizing there is something bigger. There's a bigger meaning. There's a bigger message. We find hopefully we all have something we can believe in, whether it's God, whether it's, whatever you want to call it. I think that is a very, it's an important thing to have a belief in something.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then what
beyond yourself.
Well, yes.
Perhaps.
I believe in me.
I believe in cars.
And
I believe in Ferraris, red Ferraris.
They're magical.
Every time I see one, I feel pretty good. And if I can touch it, I feel even better. And then I'm like, my world's okay. So every many ways to the mountaintop, as we've talked about before.
Oh my God, we're totally digressing. That's a story right there, though.
That's a whole nother story.
You should share that story on a wider platform. My belief in red Ferraris.
In red Ferraris.
You're going to touch a lot of people with that.
Maybe I'll even get someone will be like, well, you can come talk at our Ferrari conference.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And I could get a red Ferrari as a gift. Anyway, that's an aside. That's a whole nother story.
I hope that happens.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes. The when we feel trapped and isolated, alone, and helpless in our stories, I think that's when it can be just an unraveling.
Oh yes, for the individual, for the person.
Yeah. And today's a big day. Today is a big day because we have Dr. Ford testifying. Yeah. And the tone in the studio this morning has been really powerful. Oh. I've only seen women so far today, except for my husband, but that's literally the only male I've seen all day, which is a weird thought.
That is weird.
That's totally crazy. And then I took my kids to school, and it's only women.
I haven't seen a grown male all day.
Where's your husband?
Oh, I did see that one. I live alone now. I'm
Mikey! Mikey, come back. She's gonna go crazy without you.
Where's your husband? Oh, that man I slept next to last night. Yes, I recall him now. I did see him this morning briefly before we got the children to school.
Oh my God. But anyways, the vibe in the studio, it was powerful.
Oh, it was so powerful.
It was really powerful. And, Dr. Ford sharing her story, I think, has activated a lot of stuff in a lot of people. And that I think that's part of what we're feeling, is there are so many women who are being triggered by her story because it's activating our stories.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys got to see her or hear her, you probably have now. The podcast will come out a week later, but she, just as she started to speak, that's what I've been hearing from every woman I've run into today that happened to hear her speak today, give her testimony or whatever it's called. It was so authentic and so raw, and so it just threw me back to my own stories of that time period in my life. And it kind of shook me to the core.
It did. You came in shooken up.
I've come shooken up, and I've worked with survivors of abuse in my practice, and I've held space for everyone, for them telling their stories, whether it's a parent or a family member or a boyfriend or a stranger or whoever. But hearing this woman in front of this panel, it was like I don't know, I can't even describe it, but as she's sitting there kind of shaking and all the lights are on her, and then there's this panel of people just facing her. and she's having to share this very impactful story.
Yeah.
And she says right away, I'm terrified. I'm terrified. And you hear in her voice, it's not like, you can hear the real, she's terrified. And it just reminded me of that time where I'm like, oh, I feel terrified.
Yeah.
And then as she's telling the story, as she is in that age, it was so like, oh, I've forgotten how impacted I was by my own story of sexual trauma. And I kind of overlook it, kind of like, well, that happened. Oh, well, and I've worked through it. And, but I think it's good. Like part of me is like, oh, I need to revisit this.
Right.
I need to again shine the light. Thank you, Dr. Ford, because I need to go back and shine the light again.
Yes.
And say like, what is still there lingering for me? Right. And we saw another woman this morning, same thing, just shook into the core.
Yeah, absolutely.
And feeling sort of traumatized, like I have no power in this place, in this world, that we as women have no power. But again, the strength of that story to speak to all of us, not even, irregardless of how you feel on the topic.
Yeah.
You feel the story.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That was like, I don't care how long you've been a senator.
Yeah. When
you sat in that room, I could tell they were all like, uh-oh.
Right.
This is big.
Yeah.
Big stuff. It's like, this is very, very big stuff. And you are all bearing witness.
You are bearing witness.
You are bearing witness. And everyone, you could see that everyone was like, whoa.
Yeah. 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 And, like with the Me Too movement, it's like we are strengthened. We're strengthened by each other's stories as well.
Yes.
It's like we're linking arms together and we're saying, you know what, we can do this, but we can't do this alone.
Yes.
We can't do this alone.
We've been doing it in isolation.
And it's not working.
It's not working.
We have to link arms and band together and say, I will walk with you down this path.
Yeah.
And you don't need to feel ashamed of your story. I have the same story. And it's not your fault. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the same thing of the boys will be boys, irregardless of what comes of your opinion about Dr. Ford. But we cannot make that statement anymore.
No.
That's not right. You can't say boys will be boys.
And you know what? The boys are better than that.
The boys are better than that. They can't have that attached to them.
They deserve so much better than that.
So much better than
boys
that.
do.
I think of my son in 6th grade as he's entering into puberty.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh, I went to many, many parties and was with wonderful men.
Right.
Through my teenage years.
Yeah.
And nothing ever happened from those boys. So, and those were drunk boys sometimes too.
Right.
And they were wonderful boys.
Right.
So to attach that to an entire gender is absolutely ridiculous and dangerous.
It is. It's dangerous.
And we would not be talking about this without the story.
No. Oh, no.
Right?
No, we would not.
We would not.
We would not be talking about it.
We might be thinking about it privately, or who knows, maybe it'd come up somewhere, you're shopping the grocery store, something reminds you of something.
Yeah.
But when we think about it collectively, then we have the power to actually make change, I think. It's that collective consciousness of like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yep.
Here.
Yes.
We can talk about this. We can shine the light on this. We can share our own stories about this.
Yes. How incredibly terrifying for her, but I hope that I do hope that she feels the gratitude of so many women.
Oh yeah, we can tell you, thank you so much for having the courage to get up there in front of all those people. And it's something you didn't want to do.
She didn't want to do it.
You did not want to do it.
She wanted to be anonymous.
Yep, but you did it, and boy,
yeah,
we needed your story.
We need your story.
Yeah.
We need your story.
We need your story for all of us to heal, for all of us to fix this for future generations.
Exactly. For our children, for our boys, for our girls.
Yes, for their relationships.
For their relationships.
For the next future Supreme Court justices. For the next future presidents, whether they be male or female. For the leaders of our country.
Yeah. For
the workers of our country. We need these stories to help make us better.
Right. Well, and if you think like, if we could just kind of take the way that we live now and just envision us all around a fire at night, like what are these, what are the stories? What are we learning from this? What do we want to pass down to future generations?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do we want our little kids growing up learning about themselves, about one another, about how they interact and fit into this society? Like what are these stories that we want to be telling? And it's I feel like voices like hers that disrupt this dangerous narrative that we have going now. I think it'd be incredibly difficult to look at any little boy or any little girl and tell them the story of just status quo, letting stuff like this just be okay.
Yes.
Going back to our last podcast about change, it's incredibly disruptive in the moment. It's uncomfortable. We feel the upheaval.
Yeah.
And
it feels distressing.
It's distressing.
Yeah.
It's triggering. I mean, you feel all this energy. In person, online. You're feeling it everywhere. It's stirring up a lot. But it's so important that we share our stories, and sharing our stories for our own personal healing and understanding. And I deeply believe this: when we heal ourselves, that is how we will heal the world.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing the personal work, by showing up, by almost, it's like not being captive to our stories either.
Yes, right.
There is, I think shame comes a lot from isolation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And feeling like, oh, this is such a dark spot in my life, or this is dirty, or this is wrong, or, whatever.
Maybe I did something wrong.
Something wrong, or I deserved this.
Yes.
I messed up.
Yes.
I'm bad.
Why wasn't I aware this was happening? Or, all the things we tell ourselves.
And imagine what that's going to do inside of our body. If that's the tape that's playing over and over and over in our head, it's going to play out in other areas. Mm-hmm. So when we can shine the light and be like, that happened to me too. That happened to you? Mm-hmm. Oh, you feel that way? Oh. Whoa. It's like you can just like, I just physically like lifted up and took a big breath, because that is how we're going to heal ourselves. And that's how we can actually, I think, make big change in the world, the change that needs to happen.
Yes. And stories are hard to share. I remember I suffered from panic disorder, as I talked about before, after I'd had my daughter. And I had panic attacks, and I became agoraphobic. I couldn't leave the house. And I started to see a therapist, and they were like, you should do some group work. And I was like, group work? Great. I have panic attacks. I can't even go to the store,
Yeah.
But the beauty was, they said, well, you don't, because I didn't really care about myself at that point anymore. It was kind of like, you're a lost cause. Oh. But the therapist said it so well. He's like, well, you could help others.
Yeah. Yes.
You could help someone else. Maybe don't even worry about you. Mm. But what about if you could help someone else? Mm. And you know what? That was a huge trigger for me. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, oh, I felt empowered in a way that I had felt so disempowered when I was isolated.
Yeah.
That I felt empowered that I had the ability to help someone else, not myself. Because I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
She's a loser. But you seem promising.
Right.
Like you seem like you have a life ahead of you.
Yes.
And that encouraged me to tell my story of my panic attacks and my agoraphobia, which eventually alleviated my panic attacks and agoraphobia.
Yes. So isn't that so fascinating? Because they hold us captive. It's like we have to bring them to the light. We have to talk about them so that they're not this all powerful thing over us.
Right. And keeping us separate.
And like, listen to the way that you even say that. Like, I was agoraphobic and I had panic attacks. Like, the fact is, it doesn't carry a lot of emotion behind it. But I'm sure at one point in time, you could probably barely even tell anyone you were having panic attacks or you were afraid to leave the house.
How embarrassing.
Leave the house. But the thing that I love about you, B, is that you own your story. You own it.
And because right at that time when they taught me to share my story to help others, suddenly I realized it healed me.
It heals you.
It healed me to be able to carry on and have a fuller life.
Yes.
So I wasn't carrying the burden alone.
Yes.
Because when I thought you're not a lost cause, I'll help you. I'm a lost cause, but you're not. But suddenly your then reaction back made me feel not like a lost cause.
Yeah, exactly.
So it becomes this wonderful symbiotic relationship. It's not just about me anymore.
Totally.
And it was it's mind blowing when you think about it.
It is.
It's like, oh my goodness, of course.
Absolutely. It's hugely important. It's incredibly healing. And although it can feel super scary.
So scary.
It's like,
and it is,
it is.
It is scary. Like listening to Dr. Ford today, she sounded terrified.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Terrified.
Yeah. Yes. But
boy,
imagine.
I can't imagine.
Imagine what she has unlocked in other people.
Oh,
I mean, just
us, the little handful of us who were sobbing and releasing our stuff and revisiting our own trauma.
Just at the studio this morning.
Yes, exactly. What a gift to all of us. I mean, I know it was so terrifying and so scary, but we needed to hear that.
Well, and this is community. This is connection. This is the importance of this is being a human being.
And this is what we lost in the group.
This is totally what
when
we lost.
When we became more and more civilized.
And how we all had our little single family homes, and we, pull into our garage door and close the garage behind us and, go into our homes. We have lost so much of
because
this.
In the old days, probably could have gone to the fire and
you
said...
can't get away from anyone. You're stuck with them all. And so you figure out how to interact and you share stories.
That's the funny thing about a small town sometimes is it's like people will confront you like, well, you didn't look well yesterday. And I'm like, I felt fine yesterday.
Yeah,
we used to live in a small town. I was like, geez. But it is that weird tracking of everybody, too. Totally. Like, are you okay? Or you're bald now. And I'm like, you can't get away from it.
Right.
It's like, okay, yes.
Yeah, you're bald in a big, huge city where no one knows you. No one cares.
But in a small town, everyone was like, oh,
you're bald.
You're bald.
Are you dying?
Yeah, are you dying? And what about when they do the Star Spangled Banner? Are you going to remove your hat?
What happens? Oh, okay. I'm like, where are we going now?
That's another story.
The Star Spangled.
You're like, what about that? That's another good story right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
But that's the beauty, and I think that's the importance of sharing our stories, however it is, whether you write it down or sit down with someone and talk about it, or even just dance it out. You can feel in a room when somebody is releasing their story.
Yes.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
It's an energetic release, and it's almost like the whole entire room says, I've got you.
Yeah, we've got this. And we know this story.
We know this
story. It's almost
story.
like we know the story.
Yes.
It's that communal support.
And your story is no more shameful than anybody else's.
Yes, right. That's that normalization piece of like...
Unless you did something really, really, really bad.
And then everyone's like, uh-oh. We're going to have to talk to the elder about that one.
You killed all 9 of your children? Yeah, yours may be a little
That's
shameful.
A strange story. Let's work on it a little bit.
But anyway.
I'm sorry.
No.
Just choking.
She's sick. Are you feeling better?
I feel pretty good. Just a cough.
Just a cough.
Yeah.
But thank you all for sharing your stories. We don't have to. You don't have to do it. You definitely don't have to do it. But I applaud those of you, and I'm incredibly grateful for those of you who do share your stories. They change us.
They do.
They change us. They
really
change
do.
Each other, and hopefully it changes you by sharing your story.
Yes. We appreciate the time when you guys write in and share your stories with us too. It's very impactful for us and shapes what we do.
It absolutely does. Your stories are completely the driver of what we do with ULA. And every time you share your stories and help me see things from a different perspective, we are then able to continue to do deeper and wider work.
Yes.
So thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Mwah.
Bye.